Hey, Sid here. I don't think many of you know about this, but I failed my 12th grade. Okay, I'm talking like way back in 2001. Okay, of course I passed it in the second attempt, but the first attempt I failed in math. I just want to tell you the story about how that was the biggest blessing that I could get in my life, and where I am today. Okay, let me just take you back. From my school days, I was an outstanding student. Okay, I was always standing out of class, not very academic in many ways. Though I knew I was smart, but I was really not inclined to sitting in classrooms for a long period of time. Okay, I always liked music. I was outdoor. I was not into sports. I used to play cricket for the school team, and things like that. So as it went on, when I moved on to my 11th and 12th. I was not in class because it was really boring. It was like 1 hour periods, 100 people in my classroom, and I used to get proxies and stuff like that. You know how it is, but it was just not interesting, for me to be sitting in class. It was something which I was literally on pins. I wanted to do something more lively, something better in life. So I started playing snooker. Okay, snooker is a very skilled game, and I started playing snooker. Made a bunch of friends, really good friends. Played in different clubs. I was, to my surprise, and I never knew that I was really good at this, but I got good at it. I went for different competitions, started playing, and not many people knew about this. I used to say I was going for tuitions. I used to say that I was going for college, but I was actually playing snooker. Okay, I was actually hanging out with friends and doing some cool stuff. Okay, and of course that did affect me. Okay, because I was not sitting in classrooms. I was not going for my tuitions. I was not spending much time in studying the portions, and I somehow managed to clear all the other subjects. Okay, without spending much time on it, I just managed to clear all my other subjects except math. I was a little weak in calculus and integration. It was not really, even till today, it's something that does not go into my head. Okay, I can do stuff with any other stuff with numbers, like when I'm building my online business, and I can do some good analysis and stuff like that. But when it comes to this integration and calculus and stuff, it is not going into my head. So I remember the day that I got the results. I was actually in my home. My parents were at home. The entire family. There was a family wedding happening at that point of time. One of my uncles, and the entire family was in Bangalore, the city where I stay. I go to my college. I go and see the results on the notice board. I look at all the subjects and I see that I have failed my 12th grade. At that moment, I didn't break down or I didn't cry or any of that sort. There was something which made me feel different. I just felt like, I didn't feel unhappy. I don't know why. Okay, so I went back home and I told my parents that I failed my 12th. I failed in math. I have to give it again. And everyone was quite sad. My dad and mom, because they had some expectation that I would clear and then I would probably go and do some engineering or something like that. Because most of my friends had passed. Okay, they'd already moved on, and so I had to give my supplementary in the next 3 months. Okay, so I'll have to wait for 3 months, do some other intensive study, and just clear that paper. And what happened is the next 3 months I decided to go to another tuition where there were not many students there. A very young math teacher. He was pretty cool, and I was able to relate to him better. So he taught me calculus, he taught me integration, he taught me all the stuff that where I was faltering in, and it seemed to be going into my head. Okay, and I immediately gave my exam after 3 months, and I cleared it. Okay, but I didn't clear it in flying colors, because you cannot expect someone to overnight do stuff within 3 months, especially in a subject like math. It wasn't in me. But by me waiting for those 3 months, many of my friends had moved on. They went to do their engineering, they went to do their medical and some of these other mainstream courses back then, which were really good back then. But because I had to wait for these 3 months, I had other options, and I was looking to do something better in life. Okay, so one morning I just I just pick up the newspaper and I open the pages and I just see a course which is which said it is a course in audio engineering. It's in music production. Now, from my childhood, I just loved music. Okay, I was playing the keyboards from the age of 10, and music was something which was, you cannot separate music away from me. Okay, even during my school days when I was not in class, I was mostly in the school chapel, playing the piano, singing in the school choir, and of course it's music and sports. I used to play a lot of cricket and other outdoor sports. So I decided to take up this course. It's an audio engineering course. It was just a 1-year diploma course. I had to relocate from my hometown Bangalore to Chennai. So I went to Chennai, that's also known as Madras. Went there for it was just a 1-year course. And trust me, that 1 year, it was the best year of my life. I spent like 6 to 8 hours every day in the studio. I was learning about all the different techniques in music production, in recording, and it just didn't seem like I was in a college. And by the end of the course, I still remember I passed out with a 92% in my practicals, and in my theory around 85%, which was, I was one of the top students in that college. Okay, and to my surprise, I mean, not for me, but for many other people in my family who thought that, okay, I was just another failure, I was just another dropout and stuff like that. I could somehow prove to them that if you do what you love, you're going to be really good at it. Okay, and that's the philosophy of my life also. Even till today, I only take up things that I really love to do. Okay, so then what happened was I finished my 12th. Then I went on to because I scored really well, the institute took me back into the same college as an instructor. Okay, so that was my first job at the age of 19. Okay, so I started teaching audio engineering at the age of 19, and most of the people that I was teaching were much senior to me, like 25, 30, 35 also. So I was a young guy teaching there. I taught there for 3 years. I started taking a lot of classes in music production, digital music production, and because I just loved what I did. Okay, and I knew that I had this communication. I could speak to people, and I could communicate whatever was in my heart, which was music and how to make music. And I earned the respect of many people, though I didn't want it. But many people, they liked my music, they liked the way that I was teaching them stuff, and I was also helping a lot of other people. And after 3 years, work took me, a company from Dubai called me in, and then they wanted me to come there and make some ringtones for them. So it was good. It's a great experience. I was completely in the creative zone, making a lot of music. And at that point of time, just to compare with many of my friends who had taken up engineering, they were still finishing their courses, because engineering is like 4 years, right? So by the time I already had 3.5 years of work experience, and I was going to go out of the country. Okay, which is a big deal for many people, right? Many parents, they want their children to go out of the country and all. So I went outside. I worked there for 1.5 years, and then I came back to Bangalore, stayed with my parents, and I built some huge teams here in Bangalore for that particular company. I did very well for 5 to 6 years. Experienced the corporate race. Basically got into the creative zone, then went into administration roles. I made some good relationships, built some good relationships along the way. Worked with some of the biggest telecom operators in India, and I was still young, because I was not a fresher. I had that many years of experience. I'm still not a graduate. Okay, I'm not a degree holder. Okay, I'm just an audio engineer, a diploma in sound engineering. That's what I did. It's just a 1-year course. So later on, I got into other things like network marketing. I started learning about how to market things online. I launched my own music album. And I mean, not to brag about different things, but the main point I wanted to make in this video is that failure is one of the greatest things that can happen to anyone. Okay, so if you've been going through some phases in your life, okay, if you have kind of failed in anything, whether it be in your personal life or in your relationships or in your career, just look at it as maybe it's God's way of giving you a much bigger opportunity for you to grab. Okay, most people they don't realize it that way. They get into depression and things like that. But then if you just look at failure as the best blessing that you can have in life, life is going to be beautiful. Okay, and I always tell even all my relatives, my younger brothers and sisters, that you just need to follow your heart. if you follow your heart, then eventually, you will start doing what you love. And when you love what you do, everything else falls into place, whether it be financially or whether it be the kind of people that you want to associate with, and life just becomes better. Yeah. So I just wanted to talk about my own little story about failure, and I hope this inspires you to do much more in your life. Okay. So I'll sign off here. Bye bye.